dancers, welcome back to our channel. I'm Julie and I'm the owner and one of the instructors here at Broche Ballet. We are now a virtual ballet school just for adults. What that means is you can take live Zoom classes with me every single day of the week. You can take full-length pre-recorded video courses with me, or you can join our on-demand technique library for access to all of those live courses on demand from wherever you are, whenever you want. Today, we're gonna be talking about arabesque and attitude. We're gonna be talking specifically about the role of your core in these positions. I love attitude and arabesque back. I think they are gorgeous and beautiful and actually really, really fun and powerful when you get them. And so I'm really excited to talk to you about what I've learned and what I love to teach about how to use the mid region of your body to get an amazing arabesque and attitude line. So let's get started. First off, I want to talk about twisting your body. Okay, what I want to talk about here and why I want to talk about it is because there is a twist in your arabesque and your attitude lines. So when you're in an arabesque position, when we're here in this arabesque position, there is a twist of the body to keep the shoulders square. There is an elongation of the side of your body where the leg is lifted. The natural tendency of the body is always going to be to open with the leg that's lifted, but we need to learn how to twist our body in opposition to lengthen this side of the body and shorten the standing side. This gives us a lot of stability and really creates this line. So to start, we're going to think about separating the body. So I'm wearing my sports bra here, so we're going to talk about everything within the sports bra up as one unit, and everything in my leggings down is a separate unit. Now the part of my skin that's showing is the part that's going to be able to move and manipulate. This part of my body in between the sports bra and the pants is malleable, right? What's in there? Organs, squishy stuff. There's lots of stuff inside the skin here of this region. Then we've got bones here in the hips and we've got bones here in the ribs. But everything in the skin portion that's revealed is squishy. And I always say, if it squishes, you can move it, right? If it squishes, you can move it however you want. So we're going to talk about how to move that part here. So this is something that we often learn in jazz class, honestly. It's called isolations, isolating everything in the sports bra from everything in my leggings. You want them to move independently of each other. Now, as we're doing this, I'm going to give you some cues. I'm going to give you some different angles of what's going on with my body. So as I get started, I'm going to think about keeping everything in my leggings totally still. I'm standing in parallel, just relaxed legs. Soft bend in the knees too. We're not talking about locking the legs. Soft bend in the knees. Now I'm going to think about separating my sports bra from my leggings. Now what I don't want to have happen, if I turn to the side, I don't want to separate and change the shape of my sports bra. I want to think about the band of this staying parallel with the band of my pants so that line is parallel and is not getting distorted where the bra is pointing up and the pants are pointing down. I also don't want vice versa where they're pointing at each other. I want the band to stay totally level and then we lift it up. So we lift up. We think about taking the entire rib cage like it was on a shelf and lifting it up to the sky. We don't want to lift just the front, thus opening the ribs, right? You hear teachers say, close your ribs. This is what they're talking about. We don't want just the back where we hunch forward and just contract our abs. We don't want to just contract our abs and pull it straight up, belly button to spine. We want to think belly button to between your shoulder blades. So pull your belly button diagonally up and back to lift your rib cage away from your hips. That in and of itself is a very complex task. So if it takes you a lot of practice, don't worry, it is a complex task that I'm asking you to try. So we've lifted everything up in our rib cage. We've lifted it up and forward. Now from here, we want to begin to twist it without taking our hips with. So I don't want to move in one piece here for my arabesque. I don't want my rib cage and my hips to be facing the same direction necessarily. I want to be able to isolate everything within the sports bra and be able to move it without my hips coming with. So my hips haven't changed, but now my ribs are pointing a different direction. Now again, I'm not opening my ribs or distorting my back. I'm keeping my sports bra level while I twist. So I'm lifting the back especially and twisting, right? So I have the back of my body lifted, the front closed in while I twist my body. Now again, you want this to happen without your hips coming with. This is called isolating the top half of your body from the lower half. And we're doing that by wringing out all of the organs and the squishy stuff in the beginning or in the middle. We are thinking about wringing it out. We are squeezing our top half to the side. We are squeezing and wringing it out, right? So the top half of your body and the bottom half move independently around all the squishy stuff in the middle. So we lift and twist, lift and twist, right? So we're elevating the rib cage up while we're twisting it. Okay, so how does this apply to arabesque and attitude? That is your question, right? You're like, we're supposed to be square, we're supposed to be straight on. What are you talking about? Okay, here's what I'm talking about. When we get, I'm going to go for attitude first. When we get in an attitude position, you want to think about your standing hip remaining square to the front. Okay, so I'm facing you for this demo. My standing hip has not turned. Okay, if my standing hip has turned, it's no longer square. So that pointer of your hip needs to be facing forward. Now from there, you can think about pulling this hip back so that it opens just a little bit. So I've got one hip really pulling this way to try to face you and to be square to the front. Now this hip is thinking of opening. Okay, so I've just generated twisting force in my body, right? I have just made this side of my body twist. Okay, now my rib cage would love to just come along for the ride, but I'm not gonna let it, okay? So I've got this hip twisting. Now my upper body wanted to come with it, but I'm going to lift and twist my upper body back to the center. Now it looks like I have 1, 2, 3 points square and this one pulling out. So in my attitude position, I'm going to scoot a little bit to a different angle for you to see. In my attitude position, I'm here. My body would love to go with it, but I'm going to think about twisting my standing rib cage back to the center so that this shoulder, my standing shoulder, is pulling back and reaching back towards that leg. So again, it's not a distorting or a leaning, it is a plain twist. It is a lift and a twist. Now when we lift, that engages our abs, right? When we lift, I talked about belly button up to between your shoulder blades, belly button up to your back. When we do that twist, let me give you the other leg. When we do that twist, we can't do it with our stomach hanging out. We have to think belly button in so that we can separate and make space, and then we can twist our body. Again, I'm not twisting and leaning. My sports bra is staying parallel, flat, and twisting. Last piece of information here. This is going to give you the look of staying upright in your arabesque and your attitude. We can't stay totally upright the higher our leg gets, right? We have to go forward with our body, but we want to go forward while being up. So here's an example of what that looks like. If I'm in an arabesque position and I go forward and I let my body drop, I'm no longer upright. My body is reaching down towards the ground. I don't have much upward energy. So what I want to think about doing, I'm in this arabesque. I had to tip forward because that's how my body is shaped. That's how my pelvis is shaped. But what I want to do is make space between my sports bra and my pants. I want to lift my body, reach it out and forward, and then lift it up. So now my sports bra is again parallel with the ground so that from my sports bra up is upright, and then the rest of my body has a curve in it. Now again, I don't want my stomach hanging out. I need my stomach pulled into my rib cage, pulled into my shoulder blades, but I also again don't want my rib cage to be doing the same thing as my hips. My rib cage needs to be isolated so that it can be doing something different than my hips. If I don't figure out how to isolate my rib cage from my hips, then I'll always be moving in one piece and I'll never have the twist that I need. So even in a front position, we don't want to have our body opening. We want to twist it up and towards the leg so that we get a cross body action with our abs. So the abs are a very active action. We don't want to just suck it in and hold it there. We're actively lifting and twisting away from what's going on with the leg in our arabesque and our attitude position. That gives us all these amazing muscles in our obliques and in our shoulder blades and in our lats, all pulling us together into one piece as opposed to opening and getting away from ourselves we are pulling it all in and together and anchoring this standing side back towards your back leg so that you are twisting and creating tension in your body to stay in one piece and to hold your leg up with all of that tension and twisting that you created in your spine. So first step, figuring out how to lift your rib cage without distorting your spine and the shape of your middle section, right? So we keep a level pelvis, which isn't always hard to find in and of itself. And then we lift the body without distorting. We lift straight up. I think belly button, try to pull your belly button into the center of your shoulder blades. And then from the lift, we try to twist. Again, we're twisting on a level plane. We're not twisting and distorting. We're lifting and twisting on a level plane so that we can isolate the rib cage from the hips. Right? The rib cage doesn't have much movement in it. It is a very solid block of bone, right? We can move it a little bit. The hips, same thing. It's a solid block of bone. We fight to move it. But the center stuff, the squishy stuff, if it squishes, we can move it, right? So we lift and we twist it and we can do all kinds of stuff in here. Give your organs like a little massage. All right, dancers, I hope this starts to answer some questions about your core in your attitude and your arabesque positions. If you have more questions, please let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You never know what clicks and you never know what brings up more questions. So let me know in the comments below if you have more questions or want to see more information on this topic. And until next time, dancers, take care.